even strong enough to help you shelve an air conditioner from your car into your apartment. Or maybe it's more serious. Suppose your child will die unless you can get enough money from strangers to pay for a life-saving operation. What could you say that would make people want to help you? An economist might tell you to try incentives. In the simple case, you can just pay people, though this plainly won't work if what you need from them is money. Non-monetary rewards might also work, including those that involve reputation. You don't need laboratory studies to figure out that people are nicer when they know that their actions are public, though of course such studies do exist, so one can induce kindness by promising, perhaps in subtle ways, to make these kind actions known to others. That's why certain charities offer mugs or t-shirts to those who donate. This announces the giver's generosity to the world. Then there is the power of custom. We are social animals, and our behavior is controlled to a remarkable extent by the behavior of those around us. Even for children, the amount they contribute to someone in need is influenced by what they observe others doing. Another trick to eliciting a certain sort of goodness then is to convince people that it's what everyone else is doing. Sometimes organizations get confused about this, sending out messages that backfire. I was once in a dining hall at the University of Chicago and saw a sign. Do you realize that more than 1,000 dishes and utensils are taken from this dining common each quarter? Presumably the intention of the sign was to shock the students into compliance. That's terrible. I didn't know it was so bad. I never do that. But for me at least, the effect was to make me want to slip a knife and fork into my jacket pocket. If you want people to stop doing something, don't tell them that everyone does it. Incentives appeal to self-interest, custom appeals to our social nature, but a third way to elicit kindness is to get people to feel empathy. Much of the best research here comes from the laboratory of Daniel Batson. In a typical study, Batson and his colleagues put subjects in a situation where they have the opportunity to do something nice, such as donating money, taking over an unpleasant task from someone else, or cooperating with someone at a cost. Some of the subjects are told nothing or are told to take an objective point of view, but others are encouraged to feel empathy. They might be told, try to take the other person's perspective or put yourself in that person's shoes. Over and over again, Watson finds that this empathy prompts make subjects more likely to do good, to give money, take over a task, and cooperate. Empathy makes them kind. Batson finds these effects even when helping it's anonymous, when there is a justification for not helping, and when it's easy to say no. He concludes from his work that these effects cannot be explained by a desire to enhance one's reputation or a wish to avoid embarrassment or anything like that. Rather, empathy elicits a genuine desire to make another person's life better. These are robust findings and they make intuitive sense. Suppose you Suppose you really were face to face with someone who, with some sacrifice on his path, could save your dying child. Your first move might be to elicit empathy to get the person to feel your child's pain or perhaps your own. Your first words might be, "How would you feel if it were your child?" Charities do this sort of thing all the time, using pictures and stories to get you to empathize with suffering people. I once told the leader of a charitable organization that I was writing a book encouraging people to be less empathic, and she got angry, telling me that if she couldn't stir up empathy, her group would cut less money, and then some of the children she had spent so much time with would die. Let's put aside the issue of charity for now. I promise to return to it in the next chapter and step back to marvel at empathy's power. It's like magic. Let's see now what sort of magic it is. Nowadays, many people only seriously consider claims about our mental lives if you can show them pretty pictures from a brain scanner. Even among psychologists who should know better, images delivered from PET or fMRI scans are seen as reflecting something more scientific, more real than anything else a psychologist could discover. There is a particular obsession with localization, as if knowing where something is in the brain is the key to explaining it. I see this when I give popular talks. The question I dread most is, where does it happen in the brain? Often, however, asks this question knows nothing about neuroscience. I could make up a funny sounding brain part. It's in the florbus morbus, and my questioner would be satisfied. What's really wanted is some reassurance that there is true science going on and that the phenomenon I'm discussing actually exists. To some, this means that I have to say something specific about the brain. This assumption reflects a serious confusion about the mind and how to study it. After all, unless one is a neuroanatomist, the brute fact about scientific location that the posterior cingulate gyrus is active during certain sorts of moral deliberations, say, are in and of themselves boring. Moral deliberation has to be somewhere in the brain after all. It's not going to be in the foot or in the stomach, and it's certainly not going to reside in some mysterious immaterial realm. So who cares about precisely where? But while localization itself is a snooze, it's clear by now that the tools of neuroscience properly applied can give us considerable insight into how the mind works. There is currently a lot of excitement about social neuroscience, or sometimes affective neuroscience, and much of it is deserved. To study empathy, neuroscientists use diverse and clever methods. In the typical experiment, subjects are given some sort of experience. They might be shown pictures of people's faces or hands, or movies that depict different activities or emotional reactions. They might be made to feel mild pain or watch someone else's feel mild pain. They might be told a story or asked to take a particular attitude towards a person or situation, such as being objective or empathic. In many of the studies, zapping the brain with electromagnetic energy, transcranial magnetic stimulation, to see what happens when certain areas are stimulated or dulled. And there is a long tradition of studying individuals with brain injuries to see what impairments are associated with specific sorts of damage. What these studies do, in essence, is find out what parts of the brain are involved in what activities. This is the sort of localization I was disparaging, but it doesn't end there. The best studies go on to compare and contrast the correlates of mental activity to tell us what aspects of mental life fall together and what influences what. If you're one of those people who doesn't believe something it's real unless you see it in the brain, you'll be relieved to hear that empathy actually does exist. It really does light up the brain. Actually, at first blush, empathy looks as if it's everywhere in the brain. One scholar describes at length what he calls an empathy circuit in the brain, but this circuit contains 10 major brain areas, some of them big chunks of brain stuff larger than a baby's finger, like the median prefrontal cortex, the anterior insula and the amygdala, all of which are also engaged in actions and experiences that have nothing to do with empathy. It turns out, though, that the whole brain does it. Conclusions arise because neuroscientists, along with psychologists and philosophers, are often sloppy in their use of the term empathy. Some investigators look at what I see as empathy proper, what happens in the brain when someone feels the same thing. The same thing they believe another person is feeling. Others look at what happens when we try to understand other people, usually called social cognition or theory of mind, but sometimes called cognitive empathy. Others look at quite specific instantiations of empathy, and still others study what goes on in the brain when a person decides to do something nice for another person, which is sometimes called prosocial concern. But which one normally thinks of as niceness or kindness? Once you start pulling these different phenomena apart, which I'll do below, things get more interesting and you see how these different capacities relate to one another. After many years and many millions of dollars, it turns out that there are 3 major findings from the neuroscience of empathy research. None of these are exactly new. They reinforce ideas from philosophers hundreds of years ago, but they add to our knowledge in valuable ways. The first finding is that an empathic response to someone else's experience can involve the same brain tissue that's active when you yourself have that experience. So, I feel your pain isn't just a gooey metaphor, it can be made neurologically literal. Other people's pain really does activate the same brain areas as your own pain, and more generally, there is neural evidence for a correspondence between self and other. One of the best known findings along these lines emerged about 15 years ago from the lab of Giacomo Rizzolatti in Italy. The scientists had parts of the premotor cortex of pig-tailed macaque monkeys wired up so as to record neural activity when the monkeys engaged in certain actions. They then discovered that these same neural responses sometimes occurred when the monkeys weren't overtly doing anything at all, but just watching the scientists in the laboratory grasp and manipulate objects. Certain neurons then didn't appear to distinguish between an action the monkey does and an action the monkey perceives someone else doing. Fittingly, this became known as mirror neurons. One modest theory of the function of these mirror neurons is that they help solve the problem of how monkeys figure out how to manipulate objects. That is, given their mirroring properties, these neurons could help the monkey calibrate his or her own grip based on observing what others do. But for Rizzolatti and his colleagues, this was just the beginning. They and soon many others began to explore mirror neurons as a theory of how we can understand the mental state of other individuals, and soon proposed them as part of a theory of empathy. After all, a neural system that doesn't make the distinction between self and other seems tailor-made for explaining how we can share the experiences of others. Mirror neurons have a lot of fans. One prominent neuroscientist said that they will do for psychology what DNA did for biology, and other describes them as tiny miracles that get us through the day. Godwin's law says that as any online discussion proceeds, the odds of someone mentioning Hitler approaches certainly. In my experience, there is an equivalent for mirror neurons in any discussion of some psychological capacity, including empathy. You don't have to wait long until someone reminds the group that we already have a perfectly good theory. It's all done by mirror neurons. In this book, The Myth of Mirror Neurons, Gregory Hickok notes that if you Google mirror neurons, you will learn about gay mirror neurons, how the president is using mirror neurons to peek into your brain, why God creates mirror neurons to make us better people, and much else. His survey of scientific journal articles finds that mirror neurons are said to be implicated in stuttering, schizophrenia, hypnosis, cigarette smoking, obesity, love, business leadership, music, apprenticeship, appreciation, political attitudes, and drug abuse. As you might be able to tell from the title of this book, Hickok is critical of the claim that have been made about mirror neurons, and many scholars would agree that they have been overhyped. One strong objection to the view that they explain capacities such as morality, empathy, and language is that most of the findings about mirror neurons come from macaque monkeys, and monkeys don't have much morality, empathy, or language. Mirror neurons cannot be sufficient for these capacities then, though they might help out with them. The more general finding of shared representations, the discovery that there exists neural system that treat the experiences and actions of others the same way they treat the experiences and actions of the self, really is an important discovery about mental life. Most of the research along these lines has focused on pain. Several studies find that certain parts of the brain, including the anterior insula and the cingulate cortex, are active both when you feel pain and when you watch someone else feel pain. The pain that the subject is made to experience can be an electric shock or a pinprick to the finger, a blast of noise through headphones, or the application of heat. What one having the subjects watch the other person being shocked, pricked, blasted, or baked by having them just look at the person's face while this is happening, or even just by providing them with a written description of the event. While almost all of these studies are done with adults, there are similar results for children, and no matter how you test it, there is neural overlap. The neural expression of the observed pain of the other is similar to what you would get if you yourself be in pain. Other research looks at disgust, a part of the brain known as the anterior insula, which is also involved in pain among other things, lights up both when you feel disgusted and when you look at someone else being disgusted. There is something intuitive about this finding. Many years ago, there was a particularly vivid viral video called Two Girls, One Cup, which I'm not going to describe here, except to say that it really was extremely disgusting. If you're tempted to look for it online, consider this a trigger warning. For real. The online magazine Slate had the interesting idea of showing a video of people watching the video so you can see their faces contoured as they respond. The face video is hilarious but also disgusting. Watching the disgust of others triggers a hint of disgust in yourself. You can see this overlap between self and other as a clever evolutionary trick. To thrive as a social being, one has to make sense of the internal lives of other individuals to accurately guess what other people are thinking, wanting, and feeling. Since we are not telepathic, we have to infer this from information we get from our senses. One possible solution is that we come to understand people in the same way that we come to understand any other phenomenon, like the growth of plants or the movement of stars in the night sky. But there's an alternative. We can take advantage of the fact that we have minds ourselves, and we can use our own minds as a laboratory to bring ourselves up to speed on how others will behave and think. To see how this works, answer this. Which English word is someone more likely to know the meaning of fish or transom? You could try to answer this by thinking about how common the words are, the circumstances under which one is likely to learn them, how often they show up in everyday speech, and so on. But there's a better way. What you probably did when answering this question was to quickly judge which word was easier for you to understand, and then assume that other would be just like you. You use yourself as a lab rat to make inferences about others. We can do the same for subjective experiences. Which would hurt the stranger more? Stubbing her toe or slamming her hand in a car door? You could try to figure this out from scratch, like a scientist looking at the biological working of a novel species, but a better way is to assess memories of your own pain. Or just to imagine yourself in those situations and assume that the other person will feel the same way you do. This sort of simulation has its limits, though it assumes that others are similar to you, an assumption that is sometimes mistaken. Many people believe that dogs enjoy being hugged, for example, presumably because we enjoy being hugged. But this is probably wrong. Dog experts tell us that dogs don't naturally enjoy being hugged. They suffer through it. A lot of misery in the world and a lot of bad birthday presents exists because we understand other people by using ourselves as a model. This doesn't offend me, so I assume it doesn't offend you. I like this, so I assume you do too. And sometimes we get it wrong, as the Latin maxim goes, de gustibus non est disputandum. Our occasional success at understanding individuals who are different from ourselves shows that simulation can't be the whole story in understanding other people. Hickok points out that we can often successfully read the minds of dogs and cats, figure out what they mean when they bark or purr, wag their tails, put their tails up high, and so on, but surely we're not simulating them. Those who are quadriplegic from birth can have a rich understanding of other people, figuring out their mental states based on their movement. She has loudly slammed the door. She must be angry, even though these quadriplegics are not in any sense simulating the actions. And I can appreciate that other people will enjoy cheese, though I hate it myself, just as I can be good at buying presents for 2-year-olds, though they are rarely the sorts of gifts that I myself would like. We can transcend simulations when appreciating the minds of others. Finally, we shouldn't exaggerate the extent to which we mirror others. The neuroscience evidence shows an overlap, but it also shows differences. You can look at an fMRI scan that tells the difference between someone being poked in the hand and someone watching another person being poked in the hand. And of course, there has to be a brain difference between self and other, because there is a psychological difference. Watching someone getting slapped in the face doesn't really make your cheek burn, and watching someone get a back rub doesn't make your edges go away. We may feel the pain of someone else in a limited sense, but in another sense we really don't. Relative to real experience, empathic resonance is pallid and weak. Even without access to an fMRI scanner, Adam Smith made the same point hundreds of years ago, pointing out that empathic experiences, it's not just different in degree but in kind. Our appreciation that this experience isn't really happening to us not only lowers it in degree but in some measure varies it in kind and gives it a quite different modification. An empathic response can be automatic and rapid. If you see someone hitting his finger with a hammer, you might flinch, and this seems to be a reflexive response. But for the most part, whether or not we are consciously aware of it, empathy is modified by our beliefs, expectations, motivation, and judgments. This is the second findings from neuroscience. Our empathic experience is influenced by what we think about the person we are empathizing with and how we judge the situation that person is in.